age of 13, 14, the children do bedwetting.
Now, there is a very distinct behavior we see among children today. They are with their phones, they are on their own in their rooms. We do not know what's happening, and parents want to give privacy to children too. So for the children, that world has become real and this has become unreal. So what is your take on it?
So first and the foremost is the parents want to give the children their best. Now in their point of view, what is best? A separate room, latest Apple, iPhone, watch, then you have the TV, separate system. This privacy is the one which is leading to the zoned out zones. That is actually spoiling. You all see these reality shows which has no censor at all. Sorry to say this, but every second child has a different ability now, which is very sad. When I go through the admissions, every third child comes with
learning difficulty,
special need. It's very sad.
Concerns in the family where either parents are separating, going through a divorce, or there could be loss of a parent, grief. How do you think this impacts children?
While having his lunch, the teacher needs to sit with him, have what is his likes, dislikes, what is that he's not liking about himself as well in the present context is very, very important.
In situations where parents are separating or there is a significant event that has happened in the family, how do you think parents can prepare children?
Every alternate day, the mother and the son used to come. The child cries, and separately I used to take counseling for them. So what happens is the child says, no, I still miss my dad. We can't fill that void, but the mother plays the role of these two, but still that weakling is definitely there.
Hello and welcome to Yellow Slate Podcast. Ambitious parents, rapidly changing family systems, and high social media influences. This is the world we live in today. How do we raise emotionally resilient and strong children in a world like ours? To discuss this very important subject, we have with us today Ms. Sarita Suresh, principal of Wisdom Woods High School located in Bangalore. She holds a master's in psychology and has been leading schools for over 2 decades. Ms. Sarita, it is such a pleasure to have you here. Now, there is a very distinct behavior we see among children today. They are with their phones, they are on their own in their rooms. We do not know what's happening, and parents want to give privacy to children too. So for the children, that world has become real and this has become unreal.
Correct.
So what do you think is happening here?
Yeah. So first and the foremost is now the parents want to give the children their best. Now in their point of view, what is best? A separate room furnished with all the posh things in that, latest Apple, iPhone, watch, then you have the TV with its own separate system.
Yeah.
Not only that, there is privacy. Now, what is this privacy? For us, privacy is defined in a different way at our time. That is, only the married couple will have privacy, not other people. But here, the privacy is defined from the child who is sleeping separately from the age of 4 years.
Right.
It is separate. Now, this privacy is the one which is leading to the zoned out zones. Right? So what happens is with that, when you are asking something to a child, when you open the child's private room, if you ask me, and ask, Mama, wait, please don't disturb me. Then what were you telling? Okay, now let me know. Because the child is not with us. The child is already captivated with the thoughts.
With another world.
Or with the characters, what they are seeing. Why don't they read books? When they read books, they are not in the characters at all. Only when they see visually, they are in the characters of what they are seeing in the movie or in whatever cartoons they have. And so many live shows are coming. That is actually spoiling. You all see these reality shows which has no censor at all. Yeah. Especially these Western countries. There is a tag. I cannot tell in the public forum that one word which is tagged with every sentence. That is a common word which is actually chaste to us, which is very pure. But it is not like that anymore. So this privacy, it's like not privatization. Now it is like a private room for the children with their all amenities. The whole amenities of his life is there. Why does he need us? We are just there to give or provide whatever is there with the they require. You'd stop giving them pocket money. You see, the snake will come out of the bed. The snake will definitely come out. It is like that. You stop one of the things what you don't want to give them. You see how the things will change. Right. Definitely, but it's definitely a task. So from initial stages only, tell them that this is not possible from my end. Yeah. Later you can do that. Why privacy is given is not for anything else. It's a disturbing factor for the people who are working at different aspects and different time. Mm-hmm. But that has been taken in a different way by giving them, because where do you have private rooms or personal rooms in our families? We joint families. We don't have it all
in one point.
We used to sleep straight like this as a railway platform. That is how it used to go. So we used to, that beautiful talk amongst the cousins when we sleep, it's wonderful. Yeah. Those are all priceless actually. Yeah. So that feeling, and sleeping on the terrace, seeing the open sky, seeing the moving stars and talking without boundaries is what life is all about. But those emotions, how do we curtail our emotions is with all this. You're connecting with the nature. One example I'll give you now, when I go for walk, I'm in no phone zone. When people go for walk, they should not use phone. There is no dying situation for us. Yeah. Why do we need a phone when we are on walk?
Agree.
So they should not use. Then because there is an element in that. I want to connect myself with health and nature, with environment. That is implicating me, that I am absorbing to retain my health.
But you're right. Yeah, it is affecting.
It should not be any mental health, music, loud. Then your body will not take. Your walking is just nominal. It cannot be phenomenal.
Yeah.
It will be phenomenal when you leave your phone at home. There is nothing wrong in that. With that half an hour, with that 1 hour, nothing will sink.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not even your thoughts. It will not sink. In fact, you will sync with the environment. Right. You will sync with the nature around. You will hear the birds chirping. All this feel is not there at all.
Yeah.
I tell my students when I'm introducing a topic in social studies, morning, what do you get? Time you get up, go to the balcony, stretch your body, listen to the birds chirping, just to feel the air touching you and going, just passing by. Such a beautiful feel. No money can provide you all this, which is very important. Yeah. This itself will balance the thought process of the child. The parents as well. Otherwise, getting up only, they are bogged up with this I need to do. They are not in the correct bent of mind to even talk to the children. Start the day.
Children sleep late now.
So these are all affected social, emotional well-being of the children as well as the parents.
Yeah.
That will implicate again at home. I am a mother at home and I am at school again. Then that will carry forward with me. Definitely, whatever it is, I am a human. So I carry forward certain traits from there. Mm-hmm. Whatever happened in the morning, then I'll implicate here in school. Then that will impact my children. It's a cycle.
Yeah.
So once these gadgets, you connect yourself with nature. Now we are going back to Ayurveda. We are going back to yoga. Why are we doing that? Same way, 50%, that is 12 hours in a day, we should not be connected to any of the electronic things or any developmental aspects. Yeah. Let's have this talk like this, how beautiful it is, right? Yeah. So that is what is important. So your health is healed already there.
Yeah.
There's no deterioration at all. So that's, or you give time restriction to the children when you are using, reduce the time, regulate it, the phone usage, for the TV usage. That's why you see sorry to say this, but every second child has a different ability now, which is very sad. When I go through the admissions, every third child comes with this
learning difficulty,
special need. It's very sad. So all this had to be kept into mind, and then to go further forward, why are we adapting all these old things again? Ayurveda, yoga and all. Likewise, why not we leave gadgets? Why not we change our lifestyle? During walk, no phone zone at all. When friends you are meeting, no phone zone. You see how productive, resourceful your meeting will be, your talks will be. That's how it should be.
And a lot of experiments have been conducted.
Definitely.
Where phones have been taken away, especially in the UK. And then children initially don't do anything, but then they start becoming creative.
Correct.
They start talking.
Correct.
It really...
Exchanging of ideas will make you emotionally strong. Dining table. Have you seen anybody talking, sitting and eating without a phone? No, it will be going on. Here it goes on.
Yeah.
So all these need to be curtailed actually. So there should be some discipline implications at home as well.
Yeah.
It's not only school.
That's true.
Discipline is a cycle.
Introduce phone and gadgets to children after a certain age is important,
But they say it is for safety. This is going for tuition, is going for this. He need to do
That's
this.
a very different thing.
It has.
You can tell the teacher.
Yes, they have every answer for whatever queries we give them. That's the thing in the present context, actually. That would be
difficulty of living today.
Living today, yes. That's why our process is never negative. It's always positive hours because we have lived like that. Now you see, any little thing you tell, it triggers for them. They cannot accept.
Like
acceptance is very less. That's the thing.
Yeah, intolerance.
Intolerance, yeah, in fact.
True.
And these topics are very important actually to tell them that this is also there, which is already there.
Very
identifying.
It is the subject.
Yes.
It is the thing to
Identification is
like
not there,
what else?
basically.
Yeah.
My children, I have not given them phone till degree. And in degree also, 10 o'clock, the phone should come to my bedroom. It's like that. That is how today they have reached their pinnacle. They are at their good positions. Not that they don't know. They are with the flow of the world.
Yes.
Everything is at their fingertips. But discipline is what is very important to balance emotions and all aspects of the child's
advantage
life.
with our generation, so to speak, because one, I think it's a blessing that the phone was not even there.
Like the landline
were growing up.
Correct.
And then when it came, they were well ahead. They nearly finished schooling. So we know that families today are, you can't say what is going to happen from one day to the other. Ambitious parents, like I said in the beginning. And that creates sometimes concerns in the family where either parents are separating, going through a divorce, or there could be loss of a parent, grief. How do you think this impacts children? That's one. I think if you could tell us how this impacts children and their performance in school, if you could throw some light on that one.
Sure, definitely, ma'am. So actually there are 5 to 6 points where we need to adhere to these type of children. We need to be very patient with them. Then actually we need to be very calm. We need to be actually hearing them what are their stress levels when they are going through a particular phase at home. And not only that, but we have to also be a friend at school. What that he or she wants there, or how he is going through certain turmoil at home. That is one thing. And second thing is that you cannot just ignore. It is a continuous process. We need to be more communicative to these type of students. How do we communicate is that not for once you just talk very calmly and again, okay, now I'm not in a position. He will be popping up to come and talk to you whenever he has a sudden emotion. Then you need to be patient to listen to the child. Definitely, it will not be in the midst of the class, but the teacher needs to take a separate her time to just spend with him, take him out, emotionally support him in various aspects like what is that he's going through, to understand him. Then the same thing needs to be communicated to the parent. While having his lunch, the teacher needs to sit with him, have what is his likes, dislikes, what is that he's not liking about himself as well in the present context is very, very important.
Sometimes the children may be blaming themselves for the situation, which they probably don't tell others. Yeah. So what do you think schools what kind of processes can schools create to help and support children going through emotional distress due to family, what is happening at home?
Yeah. So what happens at home, there is a lot of stress already. So this child, when he comes to the school, he needs a lot of support. Right. So what happens, he always blames himself for what he is now. Nobody likes me, nobody listens to me, or I am not a right person, I am not a good boy, and I don't want to live. Sometimes these thoughts will trigger and they vent it out. But when he vents out like this, murmuring in the corridor or in the classroom, everybody will start, what is he doing? This is not the behavior or normal behavior. So some of his friends will discuss with the teacher. Then the teacher gives them support through his friends. How to be with him, how to behave with him. And a lot of support, peer support is required during this time to make him come to normalcy actually. That is the thing. And the teacher should not pressurize the children. Yes, to be rigid. You need to complete this work. You need to know. There should be some leeway. There should be some perks for him. Yeah, it's okay, fine. I'll give you extra time. So the extra time will actually make him come to normal.
Right.
So time is a factor for all these things.
Right. In situations where parents are separating, going through a divorce, or there is a significant event that has happened in the family, how do you think parents can prepare children for what's coming? or what's going to change?
So first they have to, because they feel protected under the guidance of the parents. So once they know this situation is going to come, the parent should talk to the child about that safety and security of the child. Then there should be an open discussion, and they should also provide a positive environment. Even in the absence of one parent, nothing will change. Things will go in a normal pattern. So basing upon that, yes, the child will be safe. Definitely there is a mindset, yes, I'm going to be okay. But here, what is that emotional support, what the child requires from the person who is being detached from them, is actually that will come into practice only when the child undergoes that. By talking, he will not know what is being a loss there. Unless he goes through that situation, at that time there will be ripple effects of the situation what the mother has spoken. But still there will be, here you can't make a child emotionally strong. What I have seen 3 cases like this. Every alternate day the mother and the son used to come. The child cries, and separately I used to take counseling for them. So what happens is the child says, no, I still miss my dad. We can't fill that void. But the mother plays the role of these two. But still that weakling is definitely there, ma'am. What I have understood through that. In spite of several providing intervention, everything, positive environment, that's absolutely there, but still there is a void.
Of course, that cannot be filled in.
Yes.
Loss or separation, these are not things that are easily overcome.
Correct.
But like, say for example, families in the West, they have very open democratic conversations with each other, and they give reasons to their children why the separation is happening and how that does not mean that the child is responsible. So communicating.
So here I can intervene. Yeah. What I feel is, if the reason is really bad, then the child himself will understand.
Yeah.
And he will not have, he is just emotionless at that time. He will not have that sensitivity towards the separation. It's a situation that creates that thing in him. Sometimes it may be very petty reason, which the parents do not. So the parent should be transparent enough to inform the reason what it is. Sometimes they put a barrier. He's too small to understand. So just know we are getting separated. It's not like this. So that incomplete message to the child also will weaken him.
That is true.
Yeah.
Because the child needs to know the truth.
Correct.
And very often we think by hiding it, we protect the children.
But it is not at all like that.
It's not the right in many situations. And children prefer, actually children smell trouble a mile away. They know when things are not okay. But to be honest about it is, I think, really, really important. And I think that's a very, very significant point that you made. One of the situations that we see very common today is there are a lot of children who are adopted. Now, at some point in the child's life, the child may discover that they're not my biological parents, but I have been brought from some other relationship. So how does the child interpret this situation, and what emotional distress is possible that could be caused? That is one part of the question. And the second is, what can parents do?
Coming to this one, it's actually a beautiful thought of adoption. First thing is that, and the parents need to be very transparent, if you ask me, because there are many situations where later if they come to know, they either move out of the house or anything. So it's always at the grassroots level. Inform the child that this is a situation where you are an adopted child, but we are no less than real parents. Only thing is, we are not biological, but we are real parents. We will be providing you with whatever facilities. So that thing has to be again and again told over a period of time. Then the third person intervening and telling, when the third person
from somewhere else
intervenes here, there comes the problem. There comes the emotional weakling actually of the child. So better than that is the parents who talk, discuss with the child time and again that yes, it is like this, we have to face it. Then emotionally the child also will be very strong.
What do you think is the right age for the child to be told that the child is not biological?
Probably from 6 years, ma'am. 6 years, he understands everything. At the age of 5, what I feel is, what I have gone through experiencing in this is from 6 and above, they can tell the child, because in a very docile way. It's not that suddenly you just release what it is. It's just a period of time, slowly, in contextual manner, you need to tell the child, yes, this is like this. It might be like this. In that way, the child also adopts everything very positive. effectively.
Right.
Yeah. And here, what I always feel is a third person should not intervene.
Right.
Because the interpretation might be in a different way.
Yeah. Or it may be communicated negatively.
Yes. Yeah. So once the interpretation is in a wrong way, definitely the impact on the child is very difficult to wean it out.
Right. Yeah. In a situation where the child finds out, say, accidentally or discovers on his own, what do you think the child goes through and how does it affect the child?
Yeah. So here actually the child shuns himself in that situation when he knows that they are not. Suddenly one fine day he's knowing that. So first thing is shuns himself. So the discarded part of the society. Why so? Then he intervenes himself. Then in that the agitative mood also comes, very aggressive, tantrums he'll throw. Then he comes to the parents. Then the parents need to identify here the emotional support what the child requires, and it needs lot of counseling sessions. At this point of time, they should take the help of the counselor. Very important. Right. Then the special educator, they need to take the help of the counselor, where regular sessions along with the parents has to be taken into consideration.
Right. Today, schools are supposed to hire special educators and counselors. What role do you think the counselor plays within a school to help and support children like that?
So these counselors actually are very important. Not that you need to have an inclusive education, not required. So we should actually have special educators and counselors as well in the school. So from time to time, they should make a framework of counseling the children other than academics. What is that? There should be no teacher there. There should be no leader there when they are talking to the students. So they should be categorized between the pre-primary, primary, and also the middle school and high school. Definitely the counselor who is there will be a shoulder to them to vent out on whatever things they want to. And she also can have one pouch hung outside her room, stating that any queries is drop in. So the children will drop in because they cannot express sometimes personally.
Right.
They may feel withdrawn, or they may say, what will she think about me? So he can write it and put it. So
it could be anonymous.
Yeah, yes, correct. So the counselor will address that as a common factor. She will not specify this child. She will address that concern as a common factor. So these workshops and this guidance from the counselor will definitely help. And here, not to forget, the teacher also intervention will be there, the topics what they are covering, and for a specific child I'm telling here. And then that has to be passed to the parent as well, where the three will work together, but from the back end. Oh, she told this, that there should not be any quoting of anyone. It's just a normal
It needs to be meant.
Yes, and the child should feel normal.
Yeah.
That okay, teacher is trying to do something to me. No, that question should not arise on the child. I'll tell you because I had experience in 2-3 places. Oh, this child is like this. Every social period he goes to counselor ma'am. That means he's having some problem. They start bullying that child.
Okay.
So to bring that to normalcy also, there is variation. The child cannot go to the counselor only in social service period. The timetable has to be varied, varying from different days, different timings.
So the children are not categorizing
him that during this time, every day he's going. That is
be a little flexible.
Yes, flexibility for the timetable, and intervention of the counselor is very important. And she comes actually from time and again to the classrooms to just observe what is the normal behavior of the children. Is there anything that is popping up for her to think, or oh, it's a concern for me, then she needs to work on that in general, not regarding that particular child, because there are many things. For example, in grade 8, 9 and all, they are in bio, they have everything. They have about the reproductive system, where we talk in detail about that. But some children take it in a very negative manner. Then they start reflecting their situation somewhere what they have seen. So before taking this particular session of reproductive system, the counselor will pitch in and take a workshop for them, where they are already thorough with what will be there in the topic, and that is normal in the society. It's nothing out of the way that we are going to. It's the first step to learn about
That brings to me to a point where in India, going to a counselor there is a certain stigma attached.
Correct.
You have a problem with your brain, or you're not mentally well.
It is like that.
As opposed to counseling is a very normal thing in the Western countries.
Yes.
So how do you think parents should perceive counseling? What would you recommend that parents should think about?
So what I would prefer in the present generation, even the parents need counseling. So there should be regular interventions. Not that there is only a problem you go to a counselor. It's not like that. Just to vent out certain things, or just to make your life more positive in every aspect. Definitely everything cannot be a bed of roses, right?
Yeah.
So definitely it should be a regular pattern to visit, like how we visit a doctor.
Right.
We have to visit the counselor along with the children, along with the parents, and sometimes grandparents also visit nowadays. I've observed one of my cousin is a clinical psychologist. So here they come for counseling. They are very old, but they do come for counseling to her.
Right.
And really, it's such a positive thing. And the way they change their ideology when they go to the counselor is very impactful, actually.
Right, because it's a third person who is objective, they're not related to you, there is no judgment.
It's that word I like. There's no judgment. There's no aspect there. So what they feel very free to vent their emotions and feelings out. Likewise, it should be a regular pattern, especially for the adapted.
I think that's a mindset that Indian
it will take time to change.
Teachers need to.
It will take time, but that's why in school, what we do is, in our timetable, we set the session of the counselors. So that it's a regular timetable, monthly once, the counselor comes just to have a word or just to have a talk out, what we call it, to vent the emotions and feelings of the child.
It could be a happy emotion.
It's definitely
share that as well.
Definitely.
So this idea of only negative things need to be shared with somebody should be kind of discarded and said, okay, even if you feel euphoric, and you can't handle your happy emotions, sometimes I need that also to.
So the counselor puts it in a very beautiful way, actually. Like us parents will put, it is like that. It's a common thing, but counselor puts it in a very beautiful way where it is very impactful on the child. The emotions of happiness, sadness, and being quiet as well. So these three are the three things what we see generally in a child. So that's why to connect to these three, the regular intervention or sessions of the counselor is very, very important in schools as well.
Right. There are times when children resist school. Like they just don't want to go. And this is something, as a child, I have resisted school. My own children have sometimes said, no, we don't want to go to school. And it is hard to get the reasons from them. It's not very easy. So what are the factors? What are the reasons that a child may resist school? Or they say, I don't like going to school. What could be the reasons? And what could be the emotional issues that the child may be having that stops the child from wanting to go to school?
Okay, it's a very good question, actually. So very few children now resist to go to school, actually. The reason might be three. The first one is too much of pressure from school that you need to do this, or you have to get this many marks. Comparison from one child to other, which I don't like. So why should I be compared? So that agitation is growing in my mind over a period of time. The child will not resist to go to school in a day or two. It is over a period of time what he has accumulated in him, right? So that is impacting the emotion in him that why should I go when I'm not even valued? When the child is not valued in the school, say it be public speaking or comparison or not getting good marks, always then going home, the child gives the review, same review at home. Say you are not good only, that's why they are not taking, you are not the best one in the class. So there is also a comparison at home. So this will definitely, what happens at home, this will impact on the actions what he is taking. Like he sleeps for a longer duration, complains of feverish conditions, headache, illness, bedwetting is one of the major concerns. When he is not able to do and some pressure is there, both are not supportive at home, at school. What do the child do? So even at the age of 13, 14, the children do bedwetting. Very, very important. You need to understand there is no physical or any health problem there. There is some strong stress in the mind which will impact on that. So that first the parent has to communicate, to connect with the teacher. Did any incident happen? Why my child is resisting not to go to school? So she needs to prepare the questions. Why this? Then the teacher in general will give them, but always the parent should ask for specifications. Nothing can be generalized here because the child will not act on general concerns. Right? So this observation is very important. And this observation periodically we should see. Sometimes because of say social studies period, he is not liking to go to school. Probably that teacher might have given a negative remark over a period of time. Or he is not in the correct bent of mind. He is interested in science. So he is not liking that subject. But what we need to do here is give them some time. Okay, it's okay. Even if you get just good marks, just pass marks, it's fine. Homework not done, it's fine, no problem. So this spacing, if you give them, the child will come back to normalcy.
Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's very difficult if it continues without observation. The whole year is doomed actually for the child.
Right.
So the teacher should be trained for that. The parent should have this in mind, that my observation over a period of time when there is erratic mood swings or changes in behavior in the child has to be observed. Bullying is also one of the factor where the child withdraws himself on his looks or the way he talks, his accent. Doesn't want to face that. So what the parents need to do, this is the answer to the next question. The parents should give them time that you are always the best, but be there with them as a shadow, but not that you do whatever he is doing. You train him how to defend himself. In certain places you need to be there, but in certain places you need to leave him to defend himself, that everywhere, every situation is not that the parent will be there or the teacher will be there, but here also the teacher should give that space for the child to come and let her know what is happening in him.
Approachable.
Teachers have to be approachable. Correct.
Yeah.
So that's why there is a class teacher. So the class teacher is more approachable than the other subject teachers, if you observe.
Right.
Yeah. So that approach is what is very
Pastoral
important.
care needs to be something teachers need to be trained in.
Trained in. All the teachers, it's mandate actually nowadays. And teachers will have, especially the teachers who are taking grade 4 and 5, they need to have one session or 2 sessions extra because they are in the transition period. Right? The students. So these teachers, their observation skills has to be enhanced by the counselor.
Right.
In what aspect? How? In which situations they need to actually be trained for the observation of the students.
Right. You brought up bullying, and it also leads to social media and peer pressures on very regular things like how do I look and how do I... What does the school do to help children deal with this kind of new age problem? And what should parents look out for when it comes to their children's engagement with social media?
Yeah. So as a developmental aspect of the society in various things, first thing is the workshops on bullying. They have to actually select what are the things that is the need of the hour in the school. Some schools, it is actually very rigid. No workshops, we need to complete our portions and all that. So workshops related to the various aspects, the trending new age problems amongst the peer. It is not the same. It is not the same from 6 to 11, 13, of course, 15. It's not the same type of bullying. Now here you have various types of bullying, and the bullying varies between genders as well.
Right.
So that is very important. Henceforth, workshops are very important for the parents as well. So there should be sessions, one for the parents alone, one for the teachers alone, and one with the students and parents.
Right.
So we need to organize these sessions, and trust me, the schools should take this as a very serious concern, where they need to organize for the bullying sessions, how to handle. Why will this bullying session come into existence?
Right.
I think you are a very arid reader also. You will know in Malgudi days, Arthur Narayan, there is also
absolutely. Absolutely. I think
in Matilda you have lot of bullying situations.
Absolutely. And I think when we were small, it was very different. But today, everybody is very touchy about things. Like, we didn't even complain when we went back. We didn't know that word. Yeah, we didn't know the word. We thought, yes, this is how friends are supposed to be. This is how some girls and some boys will be, and this is how we need to deal with it. So nobody really cared. But today, everything is like I said, everybody is on tenterhooks. Okay, why did you say this to my child? Why did you use this word? And so bullying borders not only on like violent punching, it's also verbal.
Correct.
It could be body language, it could be anything, and that makes it very difficult for not to forget gestures. That's what I meant. Body language, very important to gestures and how you do be interpreted as bullying.
Of course. That's one of the most unsaid problem. There is a proof.
Right.
There is no proof. Right. At least when they throw statements, words, yes, he said so. But with the gestures, it's very bad.
Yeah, I think therefore when you mention workshops, I think there should be a lot about how to build personality.
Personality development.
How do you resist pressure?
Pressure.
How do you take care of yourself? How do you not look at the other person for validation of who you are? I think these are some bigger, more than academic. See, academics will improve if the child feels good.
Correct.
So there needs to be a good balance of both, I think, in the school. Like teachers should be trained to work on emotions, their own and the children.
Correct.
And also focus on academic performance, which is also very important.
Yes.
I think that was really, really insightful.
Yeah. So here we were discussing about the counseling sessions for the bullying and all. Now there are certain programs which is called as SEL, Social Emotional Learning, which is very important. In this, the key aspects are self-awareness, self-assessments, and decision making. So these are the things these aspects we should train the students through various programs.
Right.
So once we train the children through various programs in this, they are already aware if this situation triggers, how do I cope with that? So if that is not there, so with the workshops, there are certain activities and the programs where they need to actually train the students for that.
Right.
So with that, any situation, the child is already trained emotionally and socially, how do they get about it? Especially with the decision making. Is this right or wrong? Any comment passed on the child, is it apt for me or not? Is it required for me or not? Situationally, the child may win it out. So that will not lead to bullying at all. So this self-assessment, self-awareness, and all these competencies, what we are giving in the present world, like in academics, you have various exams, but the competencies to self is very important.
What are these behaviors that you see manifested due to these environment that the children are in today, both the parents and the children, but in school? Or how do we recognize what is normal behavior and what is a red flag behavior, whether at school or at home? How do we know?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sandhya, for taking up this particular topic. Actually, it is very important in the present world where we have both sensitive and paranoid parents. So, need to address, actually, that is why what we do in school is that we first take the intervention of the parent, what type of child is your child and all that. So, that is one part of identifying a child. The second part is, there are two aspects. The first one is developmental aspect of the child and the continuous observation by the teacher. So there are various parameters where this can be identified. I'll come to that. The reason being, when the child is in the class, he is amongst 20 children or 25 students, right? Whereas at home, he is 1 or 2, that's all. So definitely there will be variation in his behavior at home and at school. Now, how do we identify certain children where they are having this emotional factors which is not being catered to at home? Right? Probably where the parents are working or the parents where they don't have time, or it's not only the parents who are working, but even housewives sometimes don't give time to the students because they are constantly on phone. Sorry to use this, but definitely now that phone is a media, they don't give preference or importance to the people around. They always give preference to the people who are there on phone.
Right.
So that will lead to the disrespect to the child. Even the child has to be respected, right? So what happens at that time? He is not heard at home. He is not valued at home. So how does he go about it? So probably he may mask himself sometimes at home and vent all his feelings at school. Sometimes he masks all those distress at school and vents it out at home. Suppose he is not heard by the teacher. Sometimes she may be in some other flow of teaching, LP and all. She might not hear. So the child is observant about how much importance is given to her or him in the class. So when that thing doesn't happen, definitely it is not a day. It is an accumulation of many occasions, many activities, many events over a period of time, which will bring to these type of situations. Otherwise, every child is same. The only thing is they unwrap themselves in different places and in different situations.
Yeah. We have discussed a lot of things about how emotional distress adds up over a period of time. What can schools and parents do to ensure that the child's emotional well-being is accumulated over time? So what are the practices and habits that the school and parent should adopt in their everyday life which leads to an emotionally well child?
Yeah, this is a very good question actually, because everything is connected emotionally. So this also is one of the major parts. So the parent should actually create resilience to them where they are supportive all the time. But some places they need to let them free and observe what is the decisions the child is taking. He's in the right space or not. That spacing also is important.
Right.
Sometimes leave him, let him breathe, because all the time it is not academics or you're observing him in a different space. So here what I always feel is that he wants a break, right? To enhance himself, or he's just tired with everything. Just give him a break. He doesn't want to go to school. Yes, no problem. 2 days, give him a break. Take him out for something. So this type of aspect, giving him the positive environment that yes, we are there always with you for supporting our emotions. That confidence, if you give in the child, so definitely this will fall into track.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, I think communication, having clear communication, clear rules, clear guidelines, like knowing what's a no is a no.
Yes, we can add that also to this.
Isn't
point.
it?
Definitely.
Parents are often confused. Sometimes they'll say, yes, go ahead and do it. And the other times they're mad about it.
Yes.
So that inconsistency kind of confuses the child as well. So I think that's a disciplined parent should have.
Correct.
So, I mean, that's what I think. And what can teachers do every day?
Yeah, teachers also, they cannot compel. What happens is that sometimes the child resists to do something.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not that he is just, that is the last day of his education or something like that. So we can go ahead. Sometimes the class is very chaotic, noisy. It's fine. But the teacher is worried about her LP, lesson plan. No, how do I go about it? So what she has to do, that is what. During these workshops, what I implicate is that you need to also have a buffer where it's fine. Today, let's not study. Let's have a gala time. I'll be one of you. Take the children out. Just have a open talk and see what was missing in that session on that day.
Right.
Very important is these sessions in between so for this the teachers need to be trained. Not that they will go sit and the children are playing on their own. How is her observation capacity over? So for this, the counselor intervention is very important, where she trains in this situation, these things will pop up.
Right.
That has to be guided by the counselor and regular check-ins by the leader. What is happening in this class?
Right.
Why is it happening?
Yeah.
Is it in this particular subject or other subjects as well?
Yeah.
So the school leaders have to be very vigilant on these type of emotional observations, basically, because the whole class cannot be like that.
Right.
That should be something wrong, or with the topic what is being introduced. French Revolution sometimes is very boring to hear to the child. So the children don't want to listen to that, so they want a break on that day. So it's fine. So here, how we truncate your things as per the requirement of the children's mood swings on that day. But that should not make it. Don't give them such leeway that it becomes a habit. Yeah, we should also, that's what you have already referred, that a discipline part is very important, to tell them this is what is expected from you.
Yeah, to know the midline between allowing the children and also being firm. And I think one of the most important things is also for educators, really, to give each child at least one opportunity in a day where they're themselves, or they can express themselves. Because once children know that they are allowed to speak or allowed to share their thoughts, opinions, feelings,
there itself your problem ends. You are valued. The child is valued that, okay, I'm not a nobody here.
Correct. There is someone, I'm noticed and my points are valid.
Very, very important is that you are valued.
Right.
Whether it is good or bad, you are valued.
Right.
And here, the appreciation.
Right.
The tone of the teacher. How her gestures when she sees the children. These three are very, very important to boost the morale of the child.
Right. Thank you so much, Ms. Sarita.
Thank you for actually having a very beautiful discussion, which many of the parents miss out on.
Many are confused.
What to do.
The world we live in.
Yes.
It is a confusing world.
That is not the way. We need to introspect on why we are going wrong, where we are going wrong, how can we help the child is very, very important. They can take the help of the teachers, they can take the help of the counselors.
Everybody needs to work like one unit.
So I always believe this is a triangle. School, student and the parent.
Right.
The student is on the apex of the triangle, the teacher or the school, and the parents are at this line.
Yeah.
So very important, this triangle has to be complete.
Right.
Always that has to be kept in mind by the parents as well, if they want emotionally the children to be strong in every aspect of life.
Right.
Today we are there, tomorrow we are not, but they should not be weak
Yeah.
emotionally.
Yeah.
That's very important. Very nice talking to you, Miss.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Ms. Sarita. Thank you.